Hey, what's up guys, this is Joseph and today we're going to be learning how to make a color correction. This is a very highly requested tutorial from you guys. I've been asked by multiple people to make a color correction tutorial, so I'm going to do that today. And hopefully it's a really quick one. I don't want to take too much of your time because this isn't a really complicated subject, but some people just want to see like the methods of other people and how they do it and everything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you like a couple of the basics. I'm not going to show you like a really complex CC. I'm just going to show you like the base of whatever I use and like some extra things that you can throw in there. Before I start, I'm going to go ahead and share with you the third-party plugins that I use for my color corrections. So if you don't have them, then you can't really follow along with this tutorial because you just don't have them. So I'm going to be using Magic Bullet Looks, which is part of the Red Giant thing, the Red Giant like plugins, I'm pretty sure. And I think Mojo is in there too, because we're gonna be using Mojo too. You don't have to use Mojo, but like we're gonna be making like a warm color correction, and I'm gonna use Mojo to basically like clean it up and make it a bit darker, because that's just basically what I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna show you like everything that you could like do. So I'm going to show you how to like to make that base, and then I'm going to show you the Mojo to do like a little bit extra with color correction. So after that, we're going to be using BCC Film Glow, which is from the BCC suite, and all these things that I just named are third party and you have to buy them. So I really recommend buying them though, just so you could make a color correction like this. You don't have to have them, but in my opinion they make them look a lot better, unless you are really good with like the glow that comes with After Effects. But other than that, you should be able to follow along. It's pretty easy. I'm going to show you the basics. Right, all I have right now is this clip right here and then this black solid on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and get started by making a new layer by pressing Control Alt Y, or going to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer, and we're going to add some unsharp masks first. So go to your Effects and Presets tab and type in unsharp, and then go ahead and drag it onto the first layer, and we're going to drag 2 on there just because. So for the first one, for the amount, put the amount at about 40 and the radius at about 30. So you see that? Oh, I accidentally put 20. You could put 20, like it really doesn't matter. And then for the second one, put the amount at about 30 and then the radius at about 140. And you see how it's like really dark right now, but we're not going to leave it like that. Press T on your keyboard to look at the opacity of the layer and put the opacity to about 15%. So now you have it. So just like click the layer off and see what it looks like. It gives you like a little bit of like a sharpen, but we're going to be adding a lot more. We're actually going to go back and add sharp later, but we're going to add on a different layer. So we're going to make a new layer. Oh, and before I go any further, when you're making the color correction, you see how it has him with the gun, or whoever the player is with the gun, and it's like kind of like a bright map, and you can see like the sky and everything in like the background. That's what you want to see for the color correction. So like say if you make a color correction and you're basing it off of someone in like a dark room, it's gonna look really weird once you get into the light, because you're gonna be making it like really bright to try to make the dark room look better, and it's gonna look really awful. So you're gonna have to end up changing it. So let's go ahead and make your color correction when you are in the light, like when the guy is in the light. It's just a little tip. You don't have to follow that, but that's what I usually do. We're going to make another layer under this layer. I'm going to go ahead and right click on this layer and just rename it to unsharp mask, so we can be a little bit more organized. So make a new layer under that, and then we're going to name this one Film Glow, BCC Film Glow. And go ahead and type that same thing into the Effects and Presets tab. Just type in BCC Film. You should be able to see it. You see these 4 things. Just pick the Film Glow and put it on there. And now you see how it makes it like really like bright and everything like that. what we're gonna want to do for that is we're gonna change the like glow intensity to about 150 to 200, around there, maybe like 175. It's your personal preference. And then change the radius to about 250 or 200, around there, 225, whatever you want. And then change the glow desaturation to 8. Then the glow threshold to about maybe 80. And you can just see the glow. It glows up the area, but you can change the color of the glow too. Say if you're going to want to make like a warm color correction like mine, you can make it an orange, or maybe like a reddish, like pinkish kinda, and just bring it like into the lighter section of it and just leave it like that. And now you can see it has that little tint over the whole scene, and it just looks really nice in my opinion. So we're gonna go ahead and make the magic bullet looks part. So make a new adjustment layer. Oh, and for the film glow, when you press T, just leave it at 100%, like the opacity. So change this to magic bullet looks. I'm just gonna put MBL for short. Then type in magic in your effects and presets tab. And go ahead and drag it on. And so go ahead and type in sharpen as well. Sorry, I keep hitting my desk, so if you hear that. And then put like about 20 into the sharpen. So it gives you a little bit of sharpness right there. And then press edit on magic bullet looks. And so now you see this. Go ahead and make it a little bit bigger, so you can see what I'm doing. And there's so many things you can add in here. Like, I'm not gonna go through all of them. I'm just gonna go through the ones that like I usually use, like light flex. It's optional, you don't have to. Just put the boost to about -8, and that's really all you have to do for that. And I just like, it just gives you like a little bit of like a tint kind of for like a warm color. I'll accidentally press finish, but we're gonna go back into it. Go to your lens category and then put haze and flare, and then go to your matte or matte box size and put it to 0, so it goes and like covers the whole screen. And then change the spillage to about 2%, and then the softness, just play around with the softness. You can put it to about maybe 75. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I usually leave the reach at about 50, and then I make the exposure -6 or -5, -6, -7. Just eyeball it, like moving around, and just leave the color at like an orangey, maybe make it a little bit more reddish, but I usually leave it about orangey. So the next thing we're gonna put on there is not in this. Oh, actually, yeah, it is. Put the vignette or whatever, but we're not gonna use it to make the sides darker. We're actually gonna do the opposite and make them a bit brighter. But now you see that's too bright. So put the radius like a little bit bigger, and then put the strength down a little bit. And so now if you turn it off and you turn it back on, it makes the sides a bit brighter. Hold up. It makes the sides a bit brighter, and that's what we want. And so that's basically it. Or, oh yeah, there's one more thing. You can go to your camera and then put the warm/cool, and then put this to like -0.2, -0.2, and so you can already see it's getting warmer. And then you can go ahead and put the tint, just play around with it, bring the tint down. So now if you bring it a lot, it makes it too much, so like put it like a -0.03, and now that makes it looks really nice like that. And just press finish. And so now you got that, and you're basically done with that part. And if you want to, you can make another adjustment layer on top of magic bullet looks. This is completely optional. It's just what I do. Go ahead and type in curves into the effects and presets tab and put on there, and just make like a little S curve if you want to add a little bit more contrast. But I honestly don't think that you need that for this CC. You can go ahead and leave it on. If you turn it off, it just makes everything a little bit. I'm just gonna leave it on there for now. and just name it to curves. I might take it off later. You never know. Oh yeah, and press T on magic bullet looks and put the opacity to about 80, because you don't want it to be like that strong, but you want to still see the color, but just leave it at about 80. And then for the and add another. So I mean, if you want to leave the color correction like this, you can, but I'm gonna show you guys a little bit more that you could do. So make a new layer and then put Mojo on it. Yeah, it is part of Red Giant, so we'll just rename this to Mojo. And so now you see like it kind of made everything look a bit darker and everything, but we're gonna change that, and we're gonna change the Mojo itself, like top part. We're gonna change it to about 15, so change that to 15. And then the Mojo tint, we're gonna change the tint to about 32. Then the Mojo balance to about 70, 75. I'm just gonna leave it right there at 75. I think it looks good. You can change it around and make it look however you want. I'm just gonna put it at 70. I think that looks pretty good. And then for the warm it, put it to around maybe 70 as well. Yeah. Just play around with that warm it. And then for the punch it, put that at 80. And then put the bleach it at about hold on, I actually messed with that. Put the bleach it, put it to about 50. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. I might put the warm it a little bit. I might put the warm it back to 75. That looks pretty good in my opinion, because you want it to look like that. And then just press T on your keyboard and put the opacity down to like 30%. See, and now if you turn the layer off, put it back on, it gives you a little bit of a color like that. And it's pretty warm in my opinion, and it looks nice, but you can always change everything. I never go with like the first color correction that I make, so this might not be what I end up going with. I might actually end up taking these curves off. I'm just gonna leave it on for now. You guys, I'm gonna have this project file in the description, and if you guys want to play around with these settings, by all means go ahead, because you can make it so much better in my opinion. This isn't the best color correction, but I'm basically just showing you guys like things you could do to make your own color correction. I didn't really want to make you like a color correction for you to use. I wanted you to actually take this opportunity to learn for yourself how to make your own, because I actually struggled with that myself, and I just learned how to do it myself by watching other people make them and by playing with all like the little effects or color correction things myself, and I came up with something like this. Also, something else you could do is go to a layer and add a new solid, make it black. And now this is how I make my black bars. You could use CC Jaws, but that's what some people use. But I'm just gonna go ahead and use the grid, because that's basically, I always use grid. So just type in grid, and if you can't find it, it's generate grid, and put it onto the black solid. And so now you see these these white lines. Just change the color to black, and so now you see there's a bunch of black like lines on your screen. Change this size form from corner point to width and height sliders, so now you have even more of them. And then just change the width to about whatever your composition, like whatever like height the composition is, and width. So it's about like 1280 by 720. And oh yeah, and you can move these anchor points up and down. And just move that all the way to the side. Well, make the width a bit larger, just cause. Hold on, I accidentally messed that up. And then move that over. And so now if you make this border bigger, you can always move this over. Hold up. You can always move the anchor over. And so now you have your black bars. and everything like that. I think it looks pretty good in my opinion. Just to make sure, I want to see if I did this right. I haven't done this in a while because after I did it, I saved it as a preset. I'm gonna go ahead and type in my black bars for my user preset. Let's see. Close this. Yeah. So like change this to width and height sliders, make the width 200, the height 720, and then make the anchors, like this anchor, make it 0. That's what I didn't do before. So now you basically have made your bars and you can make them bigger or smaller. I'm gonna shut off that grid. Make them bigger or smaller. But if you make them too big and you see that, just adjust this and make it go left. And so now I usually like keep it about 100. And then when I go into a cinematic, I would put it to about 170 or higher depending on what kind of cinematic it is. But basically just leave it at about 100. And so now you're done with this color correction. If you guys enjoyed this video and if it helped you at all, please leave a like and a comment, and please check out Tutorial Hub. You saw the intro in the beginning of the video. It was made by Axis. It's a really sick intro, but please give your support. I can't talk. Give your support to Tutorial Hub because there's a lot of good guys in there just trying to make the community a better place for designers, editors, hopefully motion designers pretty soon if we get some of those people in there making tutorials for us. But right now we got me, myself, Bear, and King. We're all trying, us three are trying to like make it like work right now. And there's some other members, I forgot their names. I'm sorry if I forgot your name in this video, but just give us some support, and that's basically it. I'm out, guys. Peace.